but I'm looking for weather, so I'm updating you on that. So give me a sec so that I can make sure that I'm giving you the right details. Hey, you guys, welcome to today's Q&A. We go live every Tuesday at noon Central. There we go. Bring a little light into the world here. So I wanted to start off by just kind of giving you a heads up on some of the weather that's going on out there. Okay, so hey Dean, we have volume, we've got picture, so we're good. All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about orientation and trucking jobs here available at Decker Truck Line. So we'll talk about that right now as of 2022, right? Okay, but before we do that, let me first address some of the weather so that I can get that out there and in the ears of those who need it. I did get a notice that I-70 Colorado and Kansas, there is a road closure from Lyman, Colorado to the Kansas state line. So heads up on that. And as of now, that's about all we know about it. All our drivers who are within about 150 mile radius have been told, had been possibly rerouted. So right now there's no ETA on when it's opening, but just know that is the case. So we'll keep everybody up to date on that. What else do I have for you? Eastbound 70. Eastbound lanes on 70. That's what was closed. And what else do we have? All right. We have Snoqualmie is clear. We're talking passes here, okay? We'll just kind of address all of the passes so that we know what is and what isn't closed. Washington, Snoqualmie on I-90, that is open. Blewett Pass, US 97, that's clear, that's open. 4th of July Pass, construction. How convenient. Like, the right lane is blocked due to some road maintenance taking care of some of the potholes. Other than that, it is open, but there's construction going on right now. Lookout Pass is snow-packed and icy. It is open as well. US 212, I know we don't take that a whole lot, but that is also open and clear. Cabbage Hill, I-84, US 97, that's clear, that's open. Donner Pass in California, also clear, also open, as well as Parlay Canyon in Utah on I-80. Vail Pass, I-70, like I said, I-70 in eastern Colorado, snow-covered and icy. There's still a closure right now. We were given notification that there's no ETA yet on the opening, but that's due to an accident, so that's about all we know on that one. Snowpacked and icy. Monida Pass in Idaho, I-15, clear, open. Wyoming, clear, open. South Dakota, clear, open. Northern Cal, same deal, clear, open. Arizona, New Mexico, Kansas, Arizona, New Mexico, clear and open. Kansas and Nebraska is snowpacked and icy statewide. So there you have it. Those are the road conditions. Daily road conditions report brought to you by Matt McConaughey. Passed on by Matt McConaughey. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jessie. I'm here with Decker Truck Line, and we're going to talk about the orientation process, some of the trucking jobs that we have available. So we're going to just dive into this right now and answer some questions. We're going to start with the orientation process. Actually, let's back up even a little bit further. Let's talk about the qualifications in order to get to orientation, okay? Now, you do need to have been either a recent graduate of a PTDI certified school or have at least 1 month of experience in order to qualify for our training. So there is an option to train, but you do need to have your Class A CDL and have been a recent graduate in order to do so. Okay? Then, from there, we can train you for either our refrigerated divisions or our Midwest flatbed. Now, we have our over-the-road flatbed option as well. Those are a little bit different for requirements. That one actually does require that you have at least 6 months of flatbed experience to qualify for that, or a year of tractor trailer, and then we can train you in the load securement and tarping. If again that's something that you're interested in, is the over the road flatbed. Cool. All right. So those are the basic qualifications. Tickets, moving violations. let us know what you have so we know what we're working with and if we can work with it. If you've got a couple of major moving violations, we can't help you until those start to fall off. Same with a DOT recordable accident. If you have one DOT recordable accident within the 3-year period, we have to wait till that is outside of the 3-year period. So our hands are tied on that one. We just can't move forward. If it is a preventable DOT recordable accident, I should probably specify, it must be preventable. And an easy way to look at that is, were you ticketed? Were there any fatalities or injuries? Were you towed? Those are the usual easy to answer questions to determine if it was a DOT recordable. Now, that being said, if you were terminated from your company, that's also a sign that it could have been DOT recordable, as well as if the dollar amount was substantial, then the insurance usually deems it also DOT recordable. If at all you have questions, just please reach out to us, 888-668-0698. We'll do our best to answer those questions, okay? That way it's more specific to you and your situation versus, just a full general throwing pie at the wall, see what we can catch type thing. Cool? Okay. Excellent. Now that's the basic qualifications. Having the Class A CDL, being able to run interstate, another big qualification that you need to have. If you are a recent graduate, the school must have been at least 160 hours. We cannot work with contracts, so if you are under a contract with somebody, that has to be completed before we move forward. What else can I tell you about that? There's, when it comes to reimbursements, yes, we can reimburse your schooling if you're coming directly from your school, PTDI certified school, to us, as long as you have taken care of the financial portion ahead of time. Now, we will reimburse you at $200 a month until that is paid off. It starts after 90 days, so we start paying you $200 a month until that's paid off. So we want to make sure that is 90-day mark is hit first, and then we move forward with that. Up to $6,000 total. And what I'm used to hearing is usually those, the schooling is usually running around, I think, $5,500 or so. So that should cover it in most cases. If you have over 160 hours, awesome. The more the better. The more the merrier. Now, if you are minimum experience but it's tractor trailer, so say you have at least a month of tractor trailer experience, then again, we can train in both our Midwest flatbed and our refrigerated divisions. So that is an option. Now, if you don't have 6 months of flatbed experience and you're looking to go over the road, like coast to coast in our flatbed division that's based out of Bessemer, Alabama, we are going to need to wait till you have those 6 months of flatbed, or you have 1 complete year of tractor trailer experience. If you don't have the flatbed experience, but you've got the tractor trailer experience, then we will train you in the tarping and securement. So, all right, golden on that one. Excellent. So those are the basic requirements for coming aboard here. Your work history is always a factor, so we want to make sure that we're seeing a great work history, or at least a good pattern of work history. Too many jobs could disqualify you, because we are looking for somebody to come aboard and stay for the long term. We have every intention to take the best of care of you and make sure that we are coaching and supporting you in all aspects of this. Dean will know that well. He's been there and has helped a lot of people himself coaching in it. And Dean's been driver of the year. He's held that title, so he knows well. But we will support you in growing and improving. And we've got our art program that's there and available to you. Our art program is like our ambassador program. So that's there to make sure that you have a good understanding of the company, but also who to go to in different situations, how to properly use the geotab, the TransFlow system in the truck. It could be from using the necessities for driving to the extra amenities in the truck, like Epic View, our satellite TV, using the free Wi-Fi. So we want to just make sure that you have all of those resources available to you. And for those of you who are in our Facebook group, I am getting those uploaded into the guides section of our Facebook so that you'll have all of those easily attainable to you. But they're also available to you on your Transflow app. The hitch is, if you're having a hard time accessing it on your Transflow app, if you're struggling with the sign-in, well, then that's when you want it on your Facebook. So it's going to be in both locations for you. It's also available on our intranet. So we'll just make sure that this information is easily accessible to you in all aspects. And as always, you've got the communication card, the contact card. Reach out to any of us. And this number that's coming across the screen, now this is our recruiting department's telephone number, but they can get you in the right direction if you have a question that they can't necessarily answer. So, cool? Yeah. All right, we're golden. Anna's there. Hello. Well, maybe that's Anna. Maybe that's Katie. All right. Speaking of Katie, she sent me an email first thing this morning. The TCA 2022 Best Fleet to Drive For has let out an additional, that sounds terrible, but has provided an additional clue to who the winners are for the 2022 Best Fleet to Drive For. And if you didn't already know, pretty big news. So we want to make sure you know. But if you didn't already know, we have not only been nominated, but we know that we are a finalist in the 2022 Best Fleets to Drive For. So crossing my fingers, we have one more clue, I believe. I think that's what she sent me this morning. We have one more clue coming off. Give me 1 second. I was going to see the date on that. Maybe. Oh, it helps if I'm in the right day. Okay. Hey, Ted. Ted made it. Awesome. Well, Naomi was with you earlier, but she must have had to go to work, right? And I do have that updated transportation for you, Ted, so that I'll be getting that over to you here shortly after this. Sound good? All right, so getting back on track with that orientation and getting you qualified for it. So if you have any questions on whether or not you specifically meet the qualifications, you can just get a hold of us on this telephone number here, 888-668-0698, so that we can answer those questions for you. And like I said, everybody's situation is a little bit different, so we do want to make sure that we're answering the questions that are relevant to you. But if you have questions, that chat is over here in the corner. Most definitely use that. We'll be answering them as they come in. So we'll keep you notified on everything. Cool? All right. She's with me and she says hi. All right. Well, hello. Naomi's with you. All right. Okay, so we've got you qualified. What is the next step? Once we've got you qualified and you've decided when you want to start orientation, we would then send you the online orientation information, which is usually through a text. And you'll have that, you'll complete that online. It's a series of like a video followed by a question or two, and it goes on. There's a few different sections on it, but I would say roughly about 3 hours. Ted, how long do you think that took you? 3 hours or so to do initially before you went back into medical? But so we go ahead and we have you complete that before you come to orientation. We really, really stress that we want that done before orientation. If you're an experienced driver, orientation is only 2.5 days. If you are a student or a trainee, then it is a full week, but it's a full week of a lot of information, especially when you're new to the industry. And so you're already going to be absorbing or trying to absorb a lot of info. And because it is a week long and because there's a lot of information, that's why we have the ART program, where you have that ambassador that's going to be checking in on you on a regular basis to make sure that your questions are answered, that you've got the support that you need. Plus, you've got access to your recruiter, so they'll be there to help answer your questions, and most importantly, your driver manager. Now, your driver manager is really your number one go-to. They're the ones going to dispatch you the loads, obviously, but they're also there to review your paycheck on a weekly basis. You get paid every Friday, direct deposit. What you do is you got to get your paperwork in by Sunday at midnight, the latest. Preferably no later than 10 o'clock. Actually, preferably as soon as you've completed your load, get your paperwork in. All you need to do is scan it using the TransFlow GeoTab, which is basically taking a picture of it with that tablet. And then it'll get sent in, you'll confirm, it'll send over to the payroll department so that they have a copy of it. You can even see how clear that copy is by once you take that picture, you have to confirm it and make sure before you send it over to make sure that they can actually read what it says. Anyways, you want to get your paperwork in as soon as you can. One of the requirements for our guaranteed pay, which is pretty much across the board here, is that you meet those 5 requirements, and one of them being getting your paperwork in. So it seems like a simple task, but a lot of times it's overlooked, and we just want to stress, please get that stuff in. You'll get paid every Friday. You'll get a notification on Thursday what your pay is. So if you have a question on your pay, please hold off on reaching out to us before noon on Central Time on Thursdays, because we can't really get into the system until after noon. So after 12, like after 12 Central Time. Cool? All right. And that way we can actually answer those questions. We can dig into it a little bit and make sure that everything's covered. Cool. Ted says orientation videos took me about 5 hours. Okay, there you go. So it's roughly about 5 hours of the online orientation, but it cuts down multiple days of orientation. Plus you can do it on your own time. So if say you have an hour of time, you can work on it and then you can come back to it and we'll just leave off well, it'll start up where you left off. There you go. Michael says, hey Michael, by the way, thank you for being here. Is there a Smith system training too for experienced drivers? There isn't. We don't. However, we do have regular quarterly trainings available, quarterly safety trainings available through our Luma platform. We also have an extended road test for those of you who are experienced drivers who want to, or who have maybe been off the road for an extended amount of time, so that we can get you approved without that additional training. So, if that's what you meant. Now, we do train for flatbed, load securement and tarping in certain areas, and of course meeting those requirements that we mentioned. So Jorge said, George Solano, thank you. Congrats on the nomination for Best Fleets to Drive For. Thank you. Super excited. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, very, very excited about that. But Michael, I hope that answered your question. We do take experienced drivers. We absolutely love to hire an experienced driver who knows the roads well, has the experience out there. We run pretty much all automatics for our trucks, but you'll notice that our equipment is top of the line and like loaded with amenities. So all kinds of amenities to keep you comfortable out there. And we do pay based off of experience. So most definitely we're looking for experienced drivers. And the orientation is going to be a little bit different in that case. So like Ted himself, he using him as an example, he's not going to be doing that week-long orientation in Fort Dodge because he is an experienced driver. He's coming aboard, he's going to complete that 2.5-day orientation. And on that final day, he'll be seated into his truck. He'll do a walkthrough of the truck with Katie. She'll make sure she's going through the checklist, that everything is in order and meeting expectations there. And then walking through the TransFlow system, the Epic View Satellite TV, we want to make sure you know how to run that so that when you are on your downtime, you can relax. And then, of course, everything else on the truck, making sure that everything is in order. And then also meeting your driver manager. Actually, meeting your driver manager is usually on Tuesday, I believe, so that you can have a one-on-one with them. Going over like expectations, procedures. That is for an experienced driver. Now for a trainee, as I bounce around like crazy here, for a trainee, you are going to be going a week long. You'll spend more time in the company policies and procedures and running the units than an experienced driver who has a little bit more understanding of working with the customers and the ins and outs of the DOT regulations. So a lot of that will be over. Michael said, can the flatbed training start day one? Well, we don't No, not necessarily. Let me make sure I'm answering your question though before I just flat out say no. You orientation on Monday begins with a hair follicle test as well as the driving test. But the actual like securement and tarp training for Flatbed doesn't start until after you've completed the rest of orientation. So I'm assuming that's what you're asking, but can you confirm that that's the case? And no, you can't pick your DMs, but your driver manager your recruiter is obviously having those conversations with you on what you're looking for and how you like to run. So that information is being passed on to the division, to the heads of the division, the directors of each division, and then they are matching you up with who they feel like is going to be the best fit for you for the DM, because they know the DMs that are available and who, and who they work best with in their styles, in their home times, and things like that. And so they're using that information that the recruiter is providing them in order to determine who the best fit's going to be. Does that make sense? But yeah, and some driver managers, they might have a full board and they might not have any room. So if your preference was somebody that had a full board, again, that wouldn't be an option to switch over. Now, as a rehire, if you had a preference, then yes, we would like to know, because if that's an option, then we're going to try and set you up with your preferred driver manager, the one that you had previously, usually is the case. Michael says, so how far does the hair follicle go back? 90 days. Yes, right about 90 days. Now that is an estimate, most definitely, because it depends on the individual. Someone's hair who grows, or somebody who has fast growing hair versus somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of hair, then the measurement is going to be a little bit tougher. So we take a 1/4 inch in length. Okay, so a 1/4 inch in length, and that is tested. And that's roughly 90 days. Now again, that does depend. If you're bald and you have to take a chest hair or something like that, then that's gonna throw off the 90-day a little bit, I believe. But yeah, usually it goes back about 90 days. It's not as the taking or the testing isn't as as ideal as you want. So you're welcome. Michael says, Dean says, thanks for the shout out. You betcha. Yes, indeed. Are the trucks in Fort Dodge to pick from? The availability, I like your questions. These are good questions. The availability on the trucks, or what you get to choose from on the trucks, depends on what's available. If you have a preference, make sure your driver manager, or make sure your recruiter knows, because we have 579 Peterbilts, we have some Volvos, and we have some Freightliners, Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. We are mostly Peterbilts. So you're more likely to get a Peterbilt than anything else. And if that's not your preference, then just let us know and we will get with Lisa and she will do her best to accommodate. That doesn't necessarily mean she can, but she will, if it's available, she will do her best. In the same sense, I know that she does keeps a list of those who have preferences, who are looking to maybe move out of their current truck and into a different style or maybe an upgrade. So she's got to keep that in mind as well. All right. Anything else here? Michael says, can we test the trucks or no? No, but they will. I mean, most of them are the 579 Pete's, so they're pretty much going to drive the same way. Now, the truck that you're the truck that you're taking your driving test in is basically going to be the same. And they all run, no manuals, they're all automatic. And that's what I was going to say. They all pretty much shift similar anymore when it comes to, because they are the automatics. They're all pretty much the same going down the road. The difference is there might be a little bit different headroom. Some of them are wider than others between the seats. Walking back into the sleeper. The storage and the layout is going to be a little bit different, but they're pretty much all, to give you an idea of what those trucks have, they have the double bunks for the most part. Now the only ones are the ones that are going to be out of here that aren't double bunks. So those, the 2019s and newer, they're all double bunks. They have APUs, inverters, refrigerators, microwaves, 32-inch television, plus the Epic View satellite TV that I was talking about. They have CB units in the truck. They have the TransFlow Geotab system, which has your ELDs, so your hours of service, your E-logs. It also has the free Wi-Fi in it, and the ALK, ALK mapping and routing information. So all of that's in the trucks. Plus we have Smart Drive in the truck. So that's a safety feature that includes inward and outward facing event recorders, lane departure, speed gauge, following distance. We have DriveWise. So now we have DriveWise that'll take care of all of our scales. And then our tolls are taken care of through PrePass, which is also on the trucks. What am I missing? We have Sirius Radio on the trucks. If you have a subscription to Sirius Radio, we have all the equipment, so you're ready to use that. If you don't, and you want to make sure that you're just using the free Wi-Fi and you want to stream podcasts or something like that, you can totally do that as well. How many events is too many events with safety? For a safety event, the camera picks up. Will I be called about it? Good question. So the safety, basically if you have a safety event that is of concern, it will kick on the camera and shoot it to Smart Drive. Okay, so it's going to be a 20-second snapshot over to Smart Drive, roughly. So usually about 10 seconds before and 10 seconds after. Well, how do you do it before when it doesn't kick on till then? It has an SD card in the camera itself. So the camera is up here. And it has an SD card in it. And it just films over itself, just writes over itself. Now this is geared towards the driver itself, so it's not like looking into the sleeper or anything like that. It's looking at the driver. And it rewrites over that SD card every 120 hours, I believe. So if you did get into an accident, if you were involved in it, or if you were ticketed for something and you wanted to fight it, we need to make sure that we get that card and request that video for that time period as soon as possible, because like I said, it rewrites itself every 120 hours. So that's how they're able to get that 20-second snippet in an event that you have a critical event. So we'll have that 10 before and 10 after, basically. And then it'll get it over to Smart Drive. They'll review it, and then they pass it on to our safety department if they feel that it is a safety issue. Now, the number of events, I really can't tell you if they're, is there a specific number or what they're coaching you on. What I mean by that is I can't say, 3 events and you're out. That's not the case. They're going to be coaching you if you get an event, they're going to be coaching you on how to prevent it. When we first started with Smart Drive, it was most definitely a learning curve. I mean, we all have habits that we do. You can already see my habits. I do a lot of likes, as, snaps. But we all have habits, whether it's driving or speaking or whatever. And when you're trying to break a habit, a bad habit, it is so hard. So we have to be reminded sometimes. What happens is Libby and Patrice, they'll give you a call. They'll let you know what the event was. They'll remind you of it. They'll give you some suggestions on how to improve it, to be aware of it. And, so you'll get calls if you're continuing to have those, then they'll call you in, they'll show it to you so that you can see it. And then at that point you continue to work, but they're going to work with you. But I really don't know. I don't really know if there's a specific number or more You know, can they tell that you're trying? Can they tell that you're working to improve, or are you just blowing them off type thing? Does that make sense? It's a little bit more flexibility. The wattage on the microwave is 1100. The 1800 watt inverter, 2000 watt APU. So, remote. Do you mean remote for the TV? Yes, there's a remote for the TV. Is that what you're talking about? Michael, you might have to specify for me so that I know. I'm going to reread your comment here to make sure that I'm not missing something. Is in the safety. Yeah, let me know if that's what your question is, if it's the remote for the television, because yes, we have that. Cool. All right. Well, let me think if there's anything else that I might be missing on the smart drive. Yes, the TV. Okay, cool. Got you then. Yep. There is a remote for the TV, and there's like Velcro on the back to make sure that it's not flying all over the place. It has its own little spot. So like I said, it's a 32-inch television, and then there's like a pocket for the Epic View. And you know, if you guys like local channels, and I know a lot of you guys do prefer them, especially for the weather updates, then all you need to do is when you park for the evening or morning or whatever you're parking, make sure that you run a scan so that you can get all of the available channels. Now the Epic View satellite, the satellite itself will have all of those channels on there. If you're having any issues, especially like maybe you're not seeing the full screen, check all of the cables, see if they're loose, and that way we can, you know, kind of troubleshoot a little bit. 'Cause sometimes that's the case. They get loose, and then it's not working, and you don't. Sometimes you don't even think to check that. But well, hello, Mr. Tim Olden. How are you? Awesome. So yeah, that's just a couple of troubleshooting ideas. Plus, we will have some guides in our Facebook group, hopefully by the end of today, that will give you some suggestions for the Epic View troubleshooting as well. But they are available on your TransFlow Geotab system, and we've emailed them out as well. And yes, you can take the trucks home. There's only a few exceptions to that, to being able to take the truck home with you on your home time. Unfortunately, the Montana area is one of those exceptions for the most part. So in most other areas, you'll be fine bringing the truck home with you. Your home time is going to be dependent off of how long, or how far you are away from the consistent freight in order to get home that often. That was probably the worst way to explain that, but your home time is going to be based off of freight. That's what I should have left it at. But some cases we can get you home on a weekly basis, some every 2 to 3. But yes, we do expect to have you bring the truck home with you on your home time. If there is an exception to the area, you would be notified right away on that one. We'd let you know before anything. And an example of that would be Great Falls, Montana, or Helena, Montana, or Kalispell, Montana. You'd have to leave the tractor and trailer at the Missoula terminal in order to, and before you go home. So, Miguel says, I'm not able to see all the football games. Did you do a scan for one? And you're talking on the Sunday ticket? Because you should be able to. Unless it's like let me double check. Because I saw a comment about this the other day, and I thought that it had been taken care of. So, Miguel, let me double check for you. And then I'll give you a holler back once I get that, okay? Epic View, football games. Who are you trying to watch, by the way? Just curious. And was there a specific channel that you knew that you weren't getting? Michael says, what kind of truck do you have? Oh, Miguel is asking you what kind of truck you have. Tim says, home time is based on work performance. Well, could be. It's more based off of the division. Tim's is based off of work performance because he's an owner-operator, and his boss tells him, you know, you need to work a little bit harder. You're not bringing home enough money. You are your own boss, sir. Michael says, go Chiefs. Miguel says, no, I didn't. I have a lease driver. Maybe that's why. I'm a lease driver. Oh, yes, Miguel, that could very well be why. That brings up a great question or answer, I guess. But with lease purchase, you do need to purchase the Epic View satellite TV. As a company driver, we cover that cost. As a lease purchase, you have that available to you at $16 a week. All the equipment's there, but you would need to opt in for that. Now, that being said, it could very well be that it's because lease, but I'm going to find out for sure, because my understanding is that you'd get the same exact package that we have if you were purchasing that. But I would imagine that if you weren't getting the other channels, that you weren't purchasing that. I mean, if you're getting the other channels, you're obviously purchasing it. Miguel has a $5.79 Peterbilt. He's 5 months old. What's 5 months old? Michael says, is it a smart TV? Yes. The boss. The boss is fine. The boss is a pretty darn cute little puppy. It depends on when and where you have to stop for bathroom breaks, right? Yes. Speaking of, we do allow dogs. We do have a dog policy. Our dog policy allows one dog up to 80 pounds. Non-aggressive breeds on all cases. One dog up to 80 pounds. Or you can have two dogs on the truck up to 40 pounds combined, though. So they got to be little pups in order to make that work. And then, let's see, what else am I missing? We do have some dog areas at the terminals. We do have some designated areas for the dogs for bathroom breaks and stuff like that. A little bit of playtime. You are required to keep your dog on a leash when you're at the terminals, to be considerate of others as well. But I would also say that if you've got a dog, that you're going to see a lot of people who are going to be running over to you to say, oh, can I pet your puppy? Right, Tim? He's very vocal at times, Tim says. Yeah, Tim actually has two trucks. One of them he only brings out when it's perfect weather, and shows that sucker off. That one makes it to the shows, and then his other one, he puts it to work on a regular basis. Michael says, can you go home everywhere and still bring home 2 G's? Yeah. So Tim has you're still on the mileage, right? Is what you chose? Yeah. Oh, dog policy. Yes, the dog policy is $750 for the dog policy. $250 is non-refundable, but $500 is refundable. And $100 has to be down before you can have your dog ride with you. And of course, making sure that we have all the shot records and a picture of the pup as well. So we need to have all of that. But $100 down. If you don't have, so once you have the $100 down and you don't have the full $750, you just put $50 a week in that until that builds up, so that you've got that built up for yourself. Yes, for the lease purchase program, absolutely. We're going to have to talk about the lease purchase program maybe next week or so and really dive deep into that, because I'm getting a lot more questions on that. But yes, for the lease purchase, you can do well. We are usually shooting between $4,000 to $5,000 for the weekly revenue, and you pretty much assume half of that with the expenses, your fuel, your tractor insurance, your maintenance service account, your truck payment. We pay 72% of the load plus the fuel surcharge. Now, Tim's on a little bit different one. He sticks with the mileage, but yeah, you can do the percentage, which will do you well. Mm-hmm. And Vic says, hey, do you offer a visa sponsorship? I'm a trucker from Canada. We don't. I know that has been something that we have spoken about, and I don't know where the process is, though, like how deep we've gone into it. But no, we currently don't have it. Now, if you have, because we do require that you have had a U.S. driver's license at least 3 years. But if you've driven within the U.S. For an amount of time, I would definitely say hit us up. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah. Michael says, are you flatbed, Tim? Tim is not flatbed. He answered yes, he's not. He's refrigerated. Oh, never mind. Down at the bottom, he goes, I'm coast to coast reefer driver. All right. Miguel says, I do well as he does well as well. Okay. Tim, I was calling you out, but you must have been answering his other question or just saying thanks, Tim. But yes, for both our flatbed and refrigerated, it is 72% of the load. You do have the option for $1.05 a mile plus the fuel surcharge as well. But yes, most everybody chooses the 72%. So there you have it. Let's see. I think I am caught up on the questions. There was one that I wanted to hit on though. The revenue. So yeah, usually 4 to 5 is our goal, and then you usually kick around half of that. Miguel says, yeah, flatbed and 72%. You do well. Cool. Yeah, especially right now, loads are paying well. So the lease purchase, there's been an influx in lease purchase people for sure. Mm-hmm. Michael says, what do we need to bring to orientation besides some hair? Well, that would be good for the hair follicle test. Warm clothes is a great idea because it's in Iowa. So look at that. Okay, getting back on task here for the orientation. For students, you're looking at a full week, which starts on Mondays. If you're an experienced driver, you can start on a Monday or a Wednesday and still get dispatched out that week. Now, if you're starting on a Wednesday and maybe there's a delay, I'm using this as an example because it wasn't that long ago that it happened, but you're starting on a Wednesday and you didn't get your drug test and your physical done ahead of time, and then there's a delay because who knows what kind of weather, then that can prolong you from getting dispatched out. However, we like to get that done ahead of time so that it doesn't jeopardize you in getting you dispatched out. And not only that, but it makes the orientation process a lot smoother. So we've got a couple of orientation leaders, obviously taking care of flatbed and refrigerated. But if we've got some people who have, and it's a 2.5 day orientation, we've got some people who have completed their drug tests and physical, and we have some people that haven't. And, so you've got 2 people that have and 2 people that haven't, then your trainer, your orientation trainer, is kind of split, going a couple different ways, throws things off a little bit. So ideally, please get those done ahead of time whenever possible. You do get a $100 bonus for completing the online orientation, the drug test, the physical ahead of time. So there you go. There you have it. Got to keep it. Now, for experienced drivers, like I said, Monday and Wednesday are the options, and especially if you have flatbed training that you want to do, you're an experienced driver, but you need to do some securement and tarp training, start on Monday. Start on Monday. Okay? And as a student, yes, definitely the Monday is the option. But to answer the questions on what to bring, you want to bring a voided check for direct deposit. In the Luma training, you probably filled out your account information, so that's good. But if you have a voided check for direct deposit, bring that sucker. It gets in there a lot quicker for some reason. Don't know why, but that's the case. Make sure you bring warm clothes, boots, proper gear. No string tank tops. No, you're not wearing sweatpants to orientation. You do want to be presentable. No spandex pants. Or I was going to say mesh shirts, no. Sorry, I was picturing totally 80s, okay? Anyways, you want to wear proper clothes. Jeans and a t-shirt is good. Jeans and a polo, fantastic. But, not looking for workout clothes. But you do want some good soled shoes as well as some boots, something that'll keep you warm. And gloves are ideal. Jacket. And I'm not talking like a paper thin jacket. I'm talking you are going to Iowa. And if you are coming from the south, you want a warm jacket and probably a sweatshirt underneath that. So, and then you're pretty much there for students. You're packing for a week, a good solid week. Make sure that you have that. You're going to want your bedding because you're going to be dispatched out with your truck. So you're going to want, at the very least, a pillow and sleeping bag, at the very, very least. But if you have all your bedding, awesome. And a good week's worth of clothes. So there you have it. And if you're on any medication, make sure you bring your medications. That's very important as well. Sunshine in a bottle. Yes, that's a good idea. If you please bring sunshine in a bottle, you can ship that to me as well. Thank you very much. Sultan life. Nope. Not the case. That's why we do these every week, so that you know what we have available and can answer those questions. Michael says, is pay backed up a week? Yes, basically. So, orientation starts on Monday, and you get $500 for completing orientation. You'll have that on a comp check. If you are a student, you'll have $500 on the comp check. They'll have the other $500 the following week on your Friday's settlement. So that way you've got money coming in each week. So anything that you get in, all the paperwork you get in by Sunday night is going to pay you that Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to pay you the next week. Can you see this is my calendar? I don't know if you can see that. But yes, so the answer is yes. Everything that's in by Sunday will be paid on Friday. And the guaranteed pay is making sure that you have all your paperwork in. There's 6 requirements, excuse me. Get your paperwork in. Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No CSA violations for the week. No preventable accidents for the week. And no driver service failures. So on-time delivery. Okay. Tim says he's got to go back to work. So, all right. And then Michael asked a question to Sultan. And what about just a letter from the bank from the direct deposit? That's a direct deposit form. If you have a letter from the bank, that works well as well. For some reason, just having the account number and the routing number isn't the fastest. So having a voided check or the letter, like the direct deposit form from the bank, is perfect. Perfect. Does the hotel have a gym? Yes, it does. So it does have a gym. No. Do we need bibs? That is a personal one. No. Not food bibs. You don't need to have bibs, but it's a good idea if you're going out in the winter. Most definitely a great idea if you're flatbed. Can you tell us what you were told, Sultan? Because Michael is considering, but he wants to know what was told so that he can get that information clarified. Dean says, I find it better to leave the truck at the terminal, especially if it's this cold. Depending on where you live. Yeah, if you live close to a terminal, then a lot of times they can get the maintenance done on your home time. Ideally, that would be the case. And, and then you can run back and forth. But if you live too far, then that's it. All right. You betcha, Michael. Thanks for joining us today. All right. All right. So for the orientation process, I think we pretty much have it covered. All right. See you in orientation. So I think we pretty much have the orientation process covered in filling you in on that. But just as a reminder, you'll have the hair follicle test, you'll have the driving test, you'll meet with your driver manager, and as a student, you're going to be going through a lot more company policies and procedures and some of the basics of safety, more so than experienced drivers who are coming aboard that it isn't as new to. Now, trucking jobs that are available, we do have a couple of local positions. We have one out of the try again. All right, we have one out of Des Moines, Iowa. That's what I meant to say. And Bessemer, but I think I was trying to say them all at once. So we have Bessemer, Alabama is our flatbed terminal. We are looking for a local flatbed driver there, so you need to have experience. And then we also have a flatbed, van, refrigerated, hazmat tanker. We want somebody who can do it all in the Des Moines area. We have a shop in Des Moines, and so you'd be shuttling around. Could be up to about 150-mile radius, if we need you to run. But it's home daily. It's a daily position. It's Monday through Friday. Starts at 7 a.m., done by 5:30 or 5, and possibly a Saturday, but not likely. So, so give us a call, 888-668-0698 for more details on that one. We'll fill you in on it. We also have our refrigerated divisions and our home weekly refrigerated divisions and our home weekly flatbed divisions out of the Midwest and areas of the South. So if you're looking for that, give us a holler. If you live in the Missoula, Montana area, Spokane, Washington, Seattle, Washington, then we can get you home every 7 to 10 days for our refrigerated. We have over the road in many other locations. So if you're looking for over the road, which is usually about 2 to 3 weeks out, this definitely depends on where you live. So if you live in an area, I'm going to say you live in San Antonio, Texas. That one is closer to that 3 weeks out period than it is the 2 to 3 weeks. So it's more like 3 to 4 weeks out at a time. We figure for every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. So you'll have a little bit more home time, obviously, when you're out that long. But for most locations that we hire for our over-the-road divisions, 2 to 3 weeks out is the norm. Butch Allen says, I love this place. Best company I've ever worked for. I'm not going anywhere. Dang rights. Love to see that. Love, 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 love that. Maybe that means we're going to make that best fleet to drive for. Good rep. I'd love that. All right, cool. Any other questions on the orientation process or some of the positions that we have available? We do, since I didn't hit a whole lot on some of the available positions, since we're running out of time, I do want to make sure that you know that we do have flatbed. That's a home daily option. If you, besides the one in Bessemer, that one's local, but we do have a short haul division out of the Fort Dodge area. Fort Dodge up towards the Milwaukee area, Sioux City or Sioux Falls, Omaha. Like if you live in those areas and you're looking for the home daily option for our short haul flatbed, we've got it. We can help you out. So there you have it. Fresh meat fleet rules. Yes, that is a great opportunity. If you have anybody that you were looking to refer, you just let them know that, Butch. Speaking of referrals, we do have a great referral program, so feel free to get those referrals in and then make sure that you let us know so that we can pay you. We do have a new referral telephone number as well. Of course, I don't have that right in front of me. I need a new sticky note so I can write that. Miguel says, great company for sure. Thanks, you guys. Love to see that. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, we have some great opportunities. We look forward to visiting with you about some of them. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us at 888-668-0698 so that we can get that information into you. Sound good? Answer those questions because everybody's going to be a little bit different on their situation, and we want to make sure that we're answering those that are relevant to you. So we'll get those in there. Cool. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today on today's live. We will be back, rip roaring and ready to go, Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook page. So if you haven't followed us on our Facebook page, please do that. It is facebook.com/DTL Inc. And then, of course, we're here again every Tuesday at noon Central. So we'll be here, answer more questions. I think we're going to have to start talking a little bit about the lease purchase. I'm getting a lot of questions about that, and I want to make sure all of your questions are answered about it. So might have to call a few of you to get some of your input that you thought was really important to share, so that I'm providing all of that information. So Miguel, Tim, beware. No. Just kidding. All right, you guys, have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you later. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to a recruiter, either by applying online at drivedecker.com or calling us directly at 888-668-0698. Awesome. Charles, you just barely got the live. Do you have any questions that you want me to answer before I jump off? Just barely. Make sure that I'm giving you a chance here. All right. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. We will make sure you guys are staying safe, and we will see you next week. All right, take care, you guys.